You are so good in the pit, and we've seen Dr. Mohan evolve in the 13 episodes, 14 episodes now that are out so drastically from how we meet her. First, she's spending too much time with her patients and I think getting too emotionally involved. And then Robbie notices and scolds her a bit, only for her to find her way throughout the episodes to being more of a fast pace, but still a little bit of a heart where she's developed, the skincare. She figures out the skincare was the issue for the one payment with the patient with the mercury poison. And now she's like so hardcore in the Pit Fest shooting that she doesn't have time for holding hands and her specialty, which she said was majoring in like patient care. Um, so talk about the evolution and what you discussed about how Dr. Mohan would start the series and then find her way to the end.
Absolutely. I mean, I think what I love about how they've developed the character is that she's different from the general way you see that archetype of the doctor that cares too much. I think sometimes there's this question of whether this doctor is actually skilled or good at their job. And I think what I love about her is that there's no question of that. There's no question about whether she's a good doctor. There is simply just this question of can you rise to the occasion of being in this environment? And I think there was always the sense of like she's going to step up. There's just going to be this questioning of whether she can do that. And I think the mass casualty incident is just such a great way to show that she is a really good fit for this place if given the right environment and the right situation. So I just love everything they've done with the character, and I really related to her so much when I first read it because I just thought yeah, oh my gosh, I just thought uh, it was something I really related to in terms of the kind of doctor I thought I was going to be, or even the kinds of experiences I've had in an ER when hoping someone is going to advocate for you like that.
Well, I love her mentoring of Mel in that moment. And also, eventually she gets to Whitaker, and I think maybe he's her biggest accomplishment. He's, a one doc, like a one, his first year. I don't think he's even allowed to be called doctor. He's just Whitaker at this point. Um, but your mentoring of Mel is kind, sweet approach, but at this point, you're all hands on deck, no holding hands. But I think that's what Whitaker kind of needed to find his footing, where he was afraid to jump in because he had lost a patient, and now you're going to lose like all of your most of these patients that come in from this shooting. And I think that's what a great dichotomy between the start of the series and the end, and ending here towards going. And as we talked about, there is no time at this point to hold hands and sort of do it. So while she may be thinking about her patient who has sickle cell somewhere in the back of her head, she's all hands on deck right now. And I love that she's jumping in. How draining is it for you by the end of the day, starting out filming and you're kind of taking it slow-mo, and then you're not slow-mo no mo, as Dr. Robbie's teases
Correct.
you. You're all hands on deck, but it has to be such an adrenaline for rush for you too, pumping people's hearts for them, giving them IVs, you're doing, emergency medicine at this point. And I don't know if that's what, Dr. Mo really signed up for when she became a doctor. Maybe this is just her rotation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. I do think that she maybe had this idea of what she could do with the ER, that she's realizing maybe it doesn't really live up to that dream. I think she maybe thought she could change something within the system, and then she's maybe realizing the system kind of like chews you up and spits you out. So I do think that they're exploring that dynamic really well with her, and I love that you pointed out that she is such a good teacher because she is. I do think that's one of the things that makes her inherently a very good fit in some ways. Like there's this dichotomy of like how she fits and how she doesn't. And I think the parts that do make her fit, like you pointed out, are the fact that she's really good at teaching. It is a teaching hospital. And I think especially with something like the ER where this discipline of medicine, if I mean honestly, if you could even call it that, because it's emerging of so many things, is so new. And so a lot of it relies like on teaching, on being able to record what you're doing and being able to teach it to people who are less experienced. And I think of the residents, she's one of the people who is the most professional, but also really caring with all of the younger interns. And absolutely, I do think Whitaker might be her biggest accomplishment, because she really makes him get back up on the horse, and it really made me think like, oh, like I wonder like who that person was for Samira, because I'm sure she's experienced that as well.
There are so many standout moments to this series, and certainly when you're looking over at Robbie trying to save his son's girlfriend, and all of you know it's a futile effort, but none of you says, I mean, Sean Hattasey's character is probably the most bold of any of you to say something to Dr. Robbie, but at the same time, you're giving him looks of sympathy and understanding and love, and knowing that Dr. Robbie is going through while you're currently in the midst of saving a patient yourself, chest compressions and all different kinds of things. Um, I find it to be incredible as well. What were some of your favorite moments from filming?
Yeah. I mean, all the trauma scenes were just so cool to film. I have some background in medicine, so the fact that we were trying to make it as accurate as possible while we were doing a medical trauma was just so, it was like massaging my nerd brain a little bit. It was so fun. I really enjoyed try like just the level of accuracy. Everyone wanted to make sure that we were like getting everything right and getting everything right, so that when doctors watch the show, they aren't taken out of it, and they aren't they don't poo-poo at it. Like we wanted to make sure
That's a
we
John Wells trait. You know, he
it
has to
is.
make it realistic for everyone involved, not just for viewers, but for people who are really saving lives. And I think we saw that in the video of you guys at the LA hospital where that doctor, I should say, asked Noah to sign his board certificate. It meant not just he did well as an actor portraying these life-saving people, but it meant he was an accurate doctor for
Yeah.
saving people. And I think really people should watch that video and really see what the pit does for real life physicians, but also, show the work that Noah puts forward for this series and his past series as well, ER, as wanting to represent every single person that plays a role in a hospital so accurately.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I mean, that was something we really wanted to make sure we got right when we were doing the show. And I think that really filters through with the level of detail we're giving to everything. Everything is so fully fleshed out. I mean, we're not half-assing anything really. And that's why it was so hard to film. It's such an interesting experience for me, because like I mean, it was so developmental and so fun, and I met so many great people, but also because of the level of precision and accuracy everything required, it was a tough show to film. It's a hard show to film. And I just feel so grateful that my first job is something that aligns so much with my artistic values. I really care a lot about, keeping things true to real life as much as possible. And so the fact that I get to be able to do this and portray what a healthcare worker does in a way that can get other people to empathize with them and maybe even feel inspired, like that's I mean, above and beyond. I can't ask for anything better.
I was gonna say, ask you, what does it mean to you that so many people have just found this series and are nonstop praising all of the work that each of you have put into it? I mean, not just a tribute to the writing, but you all have some dang good acting skills because everything feels so immersive. As a viewer, you feel like you're a fly on the wall watching Santos sass somebody or watching Whitaker change the scrub 7 times in like one day. But also watching Dr. Mohan hold a patient's hand and Dr. Robbie's telling, sit down, you have to sit, and, take your time and, but also, make it fat. Like this is such a beautiful series through and through for you, not just as a on-screen physician, but as an actor as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. And while I'm overwhelmed with so much gratitude for the response, I honestly have to say I'm not surprised. I remember getting the script and just thinking, I mean, this is going to be so good. I don't know if everyone can see it because I remember reading it. It was so. I mean, even when you read our scripts, they feel like a medical textbook. Like you think it's going to be too dense, but I just remember reading it and thinking, no, exactly. I know exactly what they're trying to do here, and it's going to be so good. I mean, I think it was kind of an open secret before the show came out that so many people are just gonna, really respond to it. So I'm so happy that my gut instinct was was correct.
My goodness. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me about it. I've gushed a lot, but clearly you were meant to be a part of this series. Seriously, it sounds like it from your perspective that you were meant to be a part of this series, from your
Oh,
educational perspective. But watching you, as I said, it's so investable because you're watching these people like you're there. And you're like, okay, I see there's humanity. It's not just get a patient out, get a patient out, get a, Whereas Robbie's trying to get beds, but he's doing it because he's trying to get as many people treated. It's not where where Michael Hyatt's character is like,
absolutely.
treat them and we got to get their scores up.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it just does such a good job of showing the inner life of doctors, and I think more people need to realize that there's people treating them like they aren't machines. Like I think they have these ideas of what a doctor is going to be and how they're going to treat them and
We're
what they
not
might be
keeping you for
doing.
4 hours in a waiting room because we have nothing
Yeah,
like
because we want to. Like it's not that it's just simply not that simple. And I think our show does a really good job of showing why you might be having the experience that you have on your side and what's going on the other side.
good.
Um, I would hope
The
people
empathy is there. The empathy is definitely
great. Well, great. And I hope the audience carries that empathy forward when they're interacting with actual doctors because God knows they need it.
there. From your mouth to God's ears, as is. Thank you so much, Supriya.